Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Story and Things. We are mainly a bookish podcast, but today we're going to talk about House of Dragon on HBO. I am your host, Yahaira.
And I'm your host, Chelly.
And are you excited? Are you excited?
I feel like you're more excited than I am.
You did embark on a journey with me, though. Do you want to explain what you did with me?
Well, okay. First of all, I just want to say, I don't want to sound mean, but I don't think we would have done this
Had it not been for me.
had it not been for you, because I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
You can't not be a fan.
sorry.
You never watched it.
I did. I watched the last episode.
Yeah, so Chelly watched the last episode with me. I got HBO for that day. And she was so sweet that you just like joined me and my suffering. Meanwhile, she was just sitting there like, what's going on?
I was kind of vibing. But I didn't
No,
enjoy
you
it.
weren't.
I didn't enjoy it. I was vibing though. But that was when it came out.
No, when it ended.
Yeah, when it ended. But I didn't think about anything Game of Thrones related since then until maybe 3 days ago when you were like, we should do a House of Dragons episode. And I don't know if you noticed how I was talking about it, where I was like,
No, yeah, I could tell.
House of Dragons? And you were like, yeah, it's so big right now. Which honestly, it probably is. I'm not shocked that it is, but I haven't seen anyone talk about it online.
Really?
So I really went in like blind. No, like bias or anything. No knowledge of Game of Thrones.
You didn't see any spoilers?
No,
What?
I haven't. Because anytime it pops up on TikTok, I just skip it.
Okay, good.
So because I didn't know about it, but now I do. So now I skip it because I don't want to
Spoil it.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for myself.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly say I was really into Game of Thrones.
Yes, you were.
I got into it probably when season 7. No, I think it was already at the last season, maybe. I don't remember. Point is that all of my coworkers were watching it and they were like, "Oh my God, did you see this episode?" And I got FOMO, okay? Fear of missing out. I was like, wow, everyone is experiencing Game of Thrones and I'm not. So I literally binged it. Don't know how. My
love that for
brain
you.
was so big after that.
Wait, did you binge it when we lived together?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I did. I was binging it already.
Damn.
Every friggin' waking moment, I was watching Game of Thrones. I was like, I'm gonna catch up. Because I wanted to see the last episode with everyone. So it was probably the last season, maybe.
Yeah.
Or almost the last season. And then the last season happened. And it wasn't great. I wouldn't say that it ruined the whole show for me, though. Because I still really love
The show
and how it built character and the plot and everything. But then once it was over, I don't know if you saw when people made that petition to renew it or redo it or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It got so many signatures. It was pointless though. Nothing happened.
I do remember that petition. I remember that being a huge thing, and because I had watched the last episode, I didn't know why, but because I didn't know anything about the characters.
No, but
beforehand.
you didn't like the ending either. As
know, I
someone who
didn't.
didn't even watch the entire show.
It was funny because I was asking you so many questions, and there was one point where you were like, "Keep up! Like, you gotta know this already."
If I knew that I had to make a PowerPoint, I would have made a PowerPoint. It was just very last minute that Chelly was just there with me, and I was like, please hold my hand. And I just want to say, I was one of those where I was like, House of Dragon, I'm not watching it. Hell no. After what Game of Thrones did to me.
Yeah.
But then when I saw that there was like 40 million views on the first episode, I was like,
Maybe.
okay, I guess we're going to give it another chance. And so now we're here.
Now you're here. Now
you.
I'm here.
With you.
Oh my gosh.
And also, you're not really into this genre, though.
I think I am, but I've never been one to like seek it.
Yeah, because you haven't watched Lord of the Rings.
But I feel like I would like it. And I would have never watched The Witcher if it weren't for us and doing it on this
Exactly,
podcast.
that's my point.
And I love The Witcher. You know what I
true.
think it is?
It's fantasy.
Sorry to say this.
It's
No,
fantasy.
It's super off topic, but on topic. Don't come for me. I think it's my hatred for Skyrim. Do you know that game?
You don't like Skyrim? What?
I don't like Skyrim.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You had so much shame you didn't admit
But
it.
the thing is, I feel like I would like it if I gave it another chance. So that's why I'm really like, I want to play Dark Souls, but I can't get into it. But it's like that type of world, you know? And now there's that new game coming out, The Lie of P. The Lie of Pinocchio.
The Lies.
The Lies. Whoa, big fan here.
The Lies of P.
The Lies of P. I want to play that because I like that type of like aesthetic, and that's what this is. But it takes a while for me to get into it.
Yeah, so it's difficult for you to start, but once you're in,
I'm in. Like, because it feels so dense the first episode. But like, you know, when we started this, I was like, who the hell is everyone? But now I'm like, fucking Viserys, punk ass bitch. You know, sorry, but
spoiler alert.
Yeah. So why don't we just start?
Okay. Let's just start off by saying that we are not the ones to come to for Easter eggs. We are not the ones to come to for, oh, this has to do with this in Game of Thrones. Let's be honest. Game of Thrones was long. I'm not going to remember everything.
Well, we're here for goofs and gaffs.
And vibes.
Why don't we start with episode 1?
Okay. So, quick recap. Also, spoiler alert. There's going to be a lot of spoilers.
Spoilers, there's spoilers. Go ahead.
The way you said it. So, in the beginning of the first episode, we are back in time. Also, there is like a note in the beginning that this is like almost 2 centuries before Daenerys Targaryen.
172 years before.
Thank you. And so it starts off with this king. Forgot his name. Doesn't matter.
King.
And he lost his children, so he doesn't have any heirs. And so he has a niece and a nephew, not related to each other. Well, they're cousins.
Yeah.
And they have to decide who is going to take over as king, right? Who's going to be announced as the
Well,
next
who's going to be the next... Yeah, exactly. Who's going to be the next heir? The thing is, Viserys and Rhaenys, who's both of them. Mm-hmm. One of them is a boy, Viserys, and Rhaenys is a girl. Mm-hmm. And
I think Rhaenys was the firstborn, though.
She was the firstborn.
So it should have gone to her.
But because she was a woman, it's like, no, it's not going to go to you. And everyone kind of expected it to play out like that. Mm-hmm. And so that was the choice that was made.
So Viserys was chosen king.
Time skip. It's been 17 years since Viserys has been
crowned,
ruling as king. He has a little family, his wife Aemma, who had their firstborn daughter, whose name is Rhaenyra.
Well, she's the only one that has survived because she does say that she's lost a lot of pregnancies and she's had miscarriages, stillborns, the poor girl, and she is hella pregnant at this point. And of course, no one knows the sex, but the king's like, I know it's a man. That in your belly, that's a boy. Because I had a dream once.
I had a dream and I saw a boy and I put a crown on that bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
He's not even born yet.
But so she's, like you said, Aemma's pregnant and the king is like, this has to be a boy. This has to be a boy because it's not even like it has to be a boy. He's addressing it as a boy. Yeah, but it sucks because even Rhaenyra kind of feels it like, oh, you know, he's going to prefer the son over me any day. So,
and she kind of just wants it to be over already. She's over it. She's just like, I just want him to be born. Get this over with.
So to explain her type of character, she is very independent and very strong-willed. But because of politics, she can't be that. So she really just has to fit in.
But she doesn't want to fit in because even in the beginning, when she has a moment with her mother's like, hella pregnant and she's in pain and she tells Rhaenyra, this is gonna be you one day, and Rhaenyra's like, hell no, I want to be a knight. And Rhaenyra also gets along with her uncle Daemon, he's so fucking crazy. Well, it's shown in the first episode that he's not liked and he doesn't go to the council meeting. So you can just assume, okay, he's a little busy.
He's a little different.
He's fucking shut up.
A little different. I hate it. A little different. But, okay.
But Daemon is Viserys' brother and he is the head of the Night Watch.
So, to move forward a little bit, they have like a special sports day.
It's like a tourney.
In order to like celebrate the day that Aemma's gonna go into labor, which is the weirdest thing to do, by the way. It's like, this is for you, babe, who's not even here.
Yeah. It's like, this is the celebration of the prince who's not even born yet. And everyone's like, yeah, let's celebrate his day by being really violent.
Yeah, thank you. My God, they're so fucking violent. So they have this sports thing, and they end up calling Viserys. Like, some person comes up to him and is like, "Hey, you got to go check on your wife." And it's like, "Okay, I'll go." And they go and they tell him that the baby's coming out hot dog style, not hamburger style.
What?
Hot dog style is long ways. He's coming out hot dog style, not hamburger style.
Okay.
So
That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah,
because
because
hamburger is
yeah,
like,
because you hold a paper hamburger style or hot dog style.
no,
You haven't heard
hot dog style is long.
No,
Look at
hot dog.
Look at a hot dog.
Hot dog.
Look at a hot dog. It's long ways.
Baby sideways.
Whatever. The baby is not
Baby
upright.
sideways. Baby rectangle.
Or downright.
Well,
Whatever.
whole square. Like, baby can't come out. So the guy is like, you know what? Sometimes fathers, Viserys, have to make a difficult choice.
And I love that Viserys is so dense about it. He's like, "What do you mean?"
Like, what? Why
And the
can't
guy's
baby
like,
come out?
The guy's like, "Well, you either lose both of them or you lose one of them." And by one of them, I do mean Aemma. So
Yeah,
pick
and
one.
then I hate it because he's quiet for a while, and I thought it's because he was thinking of his wife, but he's just like, so you can save my son? You can save him? And he ends up choosing to open up Aemma's womb, and they just cut straight down,
the stomach.
stomach down, and
They're like
oh my God,
tearing her.
you know
out.
what I hated about this part? He literally went up to her and was like, "They're gonna take the baby out.
And
They're
I
gonna-
love you,
okay,
babe.
love you. Don't be scared." And they literally just pull her and then cut. Like,
They
I
pull
wish
her,
they would
hold
have.
her down.
I wish they would have done it less brutally, but I get it because
They didn't have time.
you can't kill the mother first, can you? Because if you kill the mother, then there's no oxygen being given to the baby.
Right.
I think that's what it is. So that means the mother has to be alive when giving birth. I don't know, something like that. But the baby ends up coming out, and it is a boy. His name is Balon.
But Balon, unfortunately, you just hear him choking. And
I felt so bad because I made a joke about
You did make a joke, and I was just like, ugh.
You didn't say anything, but like the baby was gurgling, and I was making a joke about Viserys, who was like, "Do babies fucking do that? What? I used to let my wife handle this. What's the baby doing?" And then immediately after, we're at the funeral.
We're at a
scene.
funeral, and Rhaenyra is crying, and then you see Daemon, which is her uncle. He's behind her, and he's like, "They're waiting for you," and she pretty much says like, "Oh, I hope that my dad was happy during that hour that her brother was alive," because then you see on the little pedestal that it's two bodies and it's the baby.
Oh God, yep.
The poor baby. Oh my God, I was pissed.
Yeah. But it sucks because, just to talk about Damon's character more, the day of the funeral, he ended up going to a pleasure house.
He's always at a pleasure house.
And he had a little speech, and he's like, "To the air for a day." Because fuck.
Technically, he was only in air for a minute, so he could have been a little harsher.
Yeah, he was only in air for a minute. But still, that's a fucked up name.
That's a wrong title to have.
They do hear about it, and it happens really quick, but Daemon gets banished.
Well, before that, just keep in mind that because King Viserys doesn't have a male heir, it's technically perceived as Daemon is going to be the next in line because he's the prince, right?
Yeah, and it sucks because right after the funeral, the council sits Viserys down and is like, "Okay, who's it going to be? Because right now you don't have any heirs. Who are you going to marry?
You're not going to give it to Rhaenyra. That's
what
a
if we give
girl.
it to this?" Yeah, so they're like saying all this stuff, and he's like, "Bitch, I just lost my wife and my son. Like, you bitches need to calm down." But he does end up choosing an heir, and he chooses Rhaenyra as an heir who will be the first queen of Targaryen. Bitch.
Yeah.
It's what she wanted.
And everyone pretty much has to pledge their loyalty, but you can tell. Some of them are like hesitating.
Yeah. But yeah, Daemon is banished because of his little joke that didn't really land. I didn't even think it was that funny.
By the way, at this point, Rhaenyra is about 15.
Yeah, she is. How'd you feel about the first episode?
I hooked immediately. I was so into it. And when that funeral scene happened, I was like, I need to know what happens next. I need to know about Rhaenyra's journey. Although I should mention that Remember King Joffrey, for those of us who've seen Game of Thrones?
I don't remember him.
He literally spoiled Rhaenyra's story, but I do wonder if they're going to keep it the same.
Do you think, would you have remembered that conversation, or
No.
you just saw it? Someone posted it?
Someone posted it and they were like, oh my god, spoiler alert. When King Joffrey spoils House of Dragon.
Damn. I'm excited to see it play out, though, because you told me what the spoiler was. But as of now, I can't imagine that happening because Aegon's just a little baby.
Aegon's just a baby.
We're not even there yet. But I also really liked episode 1. I was so like, anytime Daemon and Rhaenyra were next to each other, I know the jokes about the uncle and the...
But there's like nothing happening yet.
I know, but anytime they were close, I was like, ugh. Like, I didn't want it.
Yeah. Because he gives her a necklace that's made of Valyrian steel, I think, or a gem from Valyria. And that moment, everyone's obsessed with.
Oh my God. I hate it. She never takes that necklace off, by the way. I think she
wears
it.
She just put it back on when she's meeting like suitors.
Oh.
We're just ahead of the game, though.
Okay, well, let's talk about episode 2. So the king is mourning, but also he needs to get married. So, like, yeah, you lost your wife, but you need a wifey. And he's like, oh, okay, bet. So he's basically being given options.
And one of the options is literally his cousin, who is 12 years old. She's tiny. And the way that she, like offers herself up, I guess, is like, I can give you many heirs, but I don't have to bed you till I'm 14. So it's like, oh my God, this is a child.
Yep. It was very scripted too, because her parents basically told her what to say. But I did want to mention that in the council, even though Viserys is being told by many who he should marry, his right-hand guy, whose name is Otto
Hightower,
he has a daughter who's like Rhaenyra's best friend. And he goes in private to talk to his daughter and is like, you know what?
The king's real sad right now.
Really sad.
Maybe
So why don't
go comfort him a little bit.
And Allison's like in his room, like
it's late.
It's like, I know. Maybe wear one of your mom's dresses. You know which one I'm talking about. I know. It's like, hello.
He's like, here, never. I'll pick my favorite one from her.
Oh, that's so gross.
And Allison's mom is dead, by the way.
Allison, what I appreciate about her though, because her dad had told her to basically have sex with the king. I appreciate that she didn't. I really, really appreciate it, because while everyone, it seems, would have thrown themselves to Viserys, even with the conversations of like, I'll give you heirs. Oh my gosh, I'll give you heirs. Things like that. That's not how Alicent approached it. She was more like, no one ever said I'm sorry to me, so I'm sorry. You know, because she had also lost a mom before.
But I feel like it's also calculated.
It is. Well, the whole thing is calculated. She's basically only doing what her dad is saying without really thinking of any repercussions. It's like, okay, my dad told me to bed him, so I'll try.
But you can see it in her eyes that she hates this.
She hates it.
She keeps picking at her fingernails
that
too.
They're bloody. And there was even a point where she was picking them in front of him, but she had like a cloth over her hands. So it's just it's a very bad habit that she has. But near the end of the episode, the council is all speaking to each other, and Viserys had already had a conversation with Rhaenyra, like, I gotta be wifed up. Sorry. And he's like, yep, you do what you have to for the kingdom.
Yeah, well, Rhaenyra understands it. And she's just like, Mom would understand it too.
And she was under the impression that he was going to marry the 12-year-old. Because it was like the most
reasonable,
beneficial
politically.
Yes. And he like stands up and is like, I have chosen my wife, my wifey, and it is going to be Alicent
Hightower. And Rhaenyra just looks at them like, what the fuck?
Yep.
I look away for 1 second, and you're flirting with my dad?
With my best friend? Dad, that's gross!
Yeah, it was actually really sad, because then she just leaves.
What did you think about this episode?
I really liked it. I also really like the tension that there is politically, because he obviously has a duty to marry someone that'll benefit him. But instead he ends up picking Alicent. What is she going to offer him besides babies?
I know. I feel really bad for her. I really, really like her. She looked very basic in the first episode. She kind of just looked like I'll do whatever anyone tells me to do. And she is that person. But my God, she's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
She was so sweet, and I felt bad for her. I will mention that around this time, I started not liking the king because he kind of seems
You
like a
didn't like him since the
beginning. Because he looks like a soft man. And
she saw him as soon as he came on the screen. She was like, I hate that man.
Yeah, because he looks too soft to be a king.
And that's exactly what Damon says. He's like,
he is soft. Like, the way he
not fit to be
approaches
king.
things is so stupid. Because in episode 2, there's also like this political tension between
the ship overseer. His name is like Chorus.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get help because they're in this island where there's a bunch of fucking crabs and this like crab feeder. And I think it's like a supernatural thing too,
Yeah.
because where the hell do all these crabs come from?
Yeah.
And they're like killing all of his men, and he's telling the king like, I need you to give me some men
Yep.
to help my other men. And he's just like, later.
Yeah, and it sucks too because starting episode 3, time skip, he is with...
No, before the time skip. Because the king didn't help him, he seeks out Damon, who, remember, is banished. And he's like, you and I, we're very much alike. Mm-hmm. And so Damon offers his services to help him out. And so you just see him at the island, like, with his dragon, just, like, burning all of the crab feeders' men. But it's really difficult for them to go against everyone. So then in the next episode, there is a time skip of 3 years. And the war is still on.
Yeah, the war is still going on. But you know what? All things are happy at the kingdom. Because Alicent finally gave the king a baby boy.
Yeah.
Aegon.
Yeah, and you could see it in Rhaenyra's face that she's fucking over it. Because she knows time is ticking. Mm-hmm. Sooner than later, the king is going to name Aegon as his heir.
Yep.
And she's just so over it, over like all of the duties that she has to do because she knows that it's going to be pointless.
And I do want to mention too, Alicent, even though she had Aegon, she's pregnant with a second child. Mm-hmm. So she's just popping them out. Mm-hmm. And at this point, just to freaking nail it in how much I freaking hate Viserys, while this is happening, they're like, the episode starts with them being like, oh, Aegon, look at him. He's so cute. Oh, my God.
He looks like me. He has my hair.
Yeah,
he has my
look
eyes.
at this bitch. But while that's happening, someone from the council comes up and is like, you really need to do something about that war. Like, it's getting really, really bad.
And he's like, can it wait 3 more days? It's been 3 years.
Yeah. Oh.
What's 3 days?
I hate that.
I know. He gives no fucks.
He really doesn't. But he was not going to help at all. So Rhaenyra throughout this episode is basically being, is it pestered?
Yeah. She is being pestered.
By her dad. And it's like, you are not doing anything, bitch. Mm-hmm. Like, you're literally here just existing. Like, you need to be taking your duties seriously. She's like, well, why am I going to take it seriously? No one's even here for me. Mm-hmm. Like, no one supports me, dad. So I don't fucking care.
And to make matters worse, they are celebrating Aegon's 2nd birthday.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone is so happy to see him, and no one even notices that Rhaenyra's not there.
Yep.
I noticed.
They love Aegon, and everyone at Aegon's birthday party is like, to the next heir. Totally the next heir. He even looks like a king. Mm-hmm. And
he's a baby.
He says goo goo gaga, bitch. Like, he doesn't look like an heir. Come on. But
even the king's right hand, which is Otto, he was like, I mean, he did spit up his food, so we gotta teach him better. He's like, that boy is 2.
So they're doing like a hunt for him, and they want to use, like, they bought him weapons, or people made him weapons, and it's like, oh, use this weapon to get the first hunt for your son. So they find like a stag, I think it's what it is.
Well, they spotted a white stag, which is supposedly like a really good omen, and it's supposed to be like, oh, a really good sign for Aegon, right? Because it's his birthday. Mm-hmm. And then when they tell the king like, oh, we saw the stag, they're looking for it, but it's just a regular stag. It's not white, it's brown.
But it's big.
Yeah, so they're like, it's fine. Still kill it in name of your son to celebrate his birthday. And so
he does.
Yeah.
He kills it. But to mention, so Rhaenyra didn't want to be there. She noticed that her dad had talked to someone to try to convince them.
The Lannister guy.
To basically wife up his daughter, which is
yeah.
gross.
Jason Lannister.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because she was pissed, obviously. And then she's like, he's arrogant and arrogant and something else. And he's like, yeah, just like you. I thought you guys would get along great.
Yep. And she gets mad, so she leaves. But their personal guard,
Sir Christian Cole.
which by the way, FYI, was chosen to be the personal guard by Rhaenyra. Sees that Rhaenyra is leaving the party and is like, wait up, I'll catch up to you. And they basically have like a heart-to-heart where she's like, do you think anyone will ever respect me as queen?
And he's like, well, they're going to have to.
Yeah, but he says no. Like, they're not. He
He doesn't say no. He just says they're going to have to.
Oh, okay. But they have this conversation and they kill a boar together, which is like goals, you know?
You know, you kill a boar together. That's when you know you're friends till the end.
But while that stag was being killed for Aegon, the white stag actually appears in front of Rhaenyra and Cole, and she decides to spare it.
Because Christian Cole was like ready to kill it. He pulls out his sword, and Rhaenyra's like, no, don't.
I love
And
that.
then he runs away.
I feel like that says a lot about her because she didn't choose violence today. Although she
Not
chooses
today.
violence almost every day.
Another day, though, but not today.
I like
not
that-
on Aegon's birthday.
I like that she didn't kill it. It gives me Shadow and Bone vibes.
I kind of wanted her to kill it just so that she can, like, take
Oh,
the
yeah, that
head
would've
as a
been
trophy
satisfying.
and be like, yeah, I did this. Therefore, I'm your queen.
Happy
not
birthday, Aegon, bitch.
Bet you could do this, Aegon. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Okay, but I do want to mention that in this episode,
People want the king to name Aegon as his heir, and they keep hinting it at him like, oh,
yeah,
obviously you're going to name him as heir, right? And he's offended. He's like, do you think that I just chose Rhaenyra on a whim? Like, why do you think that I would have chosen her? And then later on retracted it. And so Otto, his right-hand man, goes to his daughter, the queen, Alicent, and is like, maybe you should mention it, that he should name Aegon as heir because everyone's expecting it. And at first she's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, Rhaenyra will be a great queen.
yeah.
But he's like, but isn't it Aegon's right to be king?
He's so manipulative.
So she's ready to do it. She like goes to the king's bed and she's like, can we talk? But they end up talking about Rhaenyra and her potential
Suitors.
husband. And
She ends up saying that Rhaenyra will marry if you let her make the choice herself.
oh, right. And which I think is a great point because Rhaenyra is that type of person. But at the same time, they receive a letter from what's happening on the island with the crab feeder. And I don't know who wrote the letter, but it was definitely not Daemon.
Yeah.
And they basically tell the king, oh, hey, we're losing over here. Can you send some help? And Alicent is actually the voice of reason in this moment where she's like, look, I know that you're mad at your brother, but as a good king, shouldn't you help? And because he's worried that it'll make him look bad.
Look weak. But he does end up sending a letter with a messenger, and the messenger says that they're sending 10 fleets of 2,000 people, or 10 fleet ships with a total of 2,000 people.
In the letter, that's what it says.
Yeah. And Daemon at this point is like, nope, that's not going to happen. So they come up with this crazy plan for Daemon to go in by himself to pretend.
They don't really come up with it. He just kind of goes.
Oh, I thought it was everyone.
No, they were talking about it and they were like, okay, what's the best way for us to kill everyone? And they were like, well, if we get everyone out and then surround them, that would be the best case scenario. But then they were like, no one is crazy enough to do that, to like be, you know, what is that called? To be the
Bait.
the bait. But he wasn't even there at that point. He was barely coming down from his dragon.
Yep.
And that's when he gets the letter. And he's such a petty bitch. He's just petty. Because he's like, you know what? I'm not going to let my brother shine in this moment. So he goes off in his little rowboat. He goes to the island. And he starts pretending like, okay, I'm just going to forfeit. I'm just going to pretend like I'm giving up. So when he's giving up, all the crab feeders men start coming out. And then that's when he starts fighting all of them. And then they all start surrounding him. And that's when all of the other men the men that were already in the battle, not like the king's extra men. They all come out and pretty much
annihilate everyone, and you see Daemon at the end holding half of what was the king of the crabs.
right.
Don't remember his name.
I don't either. I think it's like Dara.
Yep, but they won the battle in a day when he heard about the news.
Yeah, because he was like motivated.
Yeah, thank you, brother. You really know what to do.
I think it's really telling on Damon's character, though.
How'd you feel about? Oh, can I just say, I'm not a Damon stan at all.
Yeah,
and this episode kind of, I wouldn't say solidifies it, but it makes me feel like, okay, I know I don't like Daemon, but I understand people who do, because at least he gets shit done. Like, the king has been sitting on this war for like 3 years.
I mean, he wasn't really doing anything.
He wasn't doing it. He was just kind of letting it happen. And Daemon here ended it in a day. Like, bitch. Like, he
also helped when he was asked for help. Unlike the king, who was always like, oh, maybe later.
A war?
It's not really a priority.
And it was even to the point where when the war was brought up to Rhaenyra, she didn't even know what was going on because her dad doesn't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't know what was going on, but she was also down to help.
More than her dad. So just to point out, I get it. I get why people like Daemon, but I'm just not a Daemon stan.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like your type of character at all.
Wait, do you like him?
Yeah, I freaking love Daemon. He's probably the reason why I started watching it, because I kept seeing thirst traps for him, and I was like, well, I didn't like him at first.
Okay.
At first glance. See, I never watched Doctor Who, so I wasn't really like, for the actor. But then I saw all of these people like making these thirst traps, and I was like, I need to know who this man is. No, but I really like that he gets things done.
Okay. I guess. Not my type of character, but to each their own. Episode 4. Rhaenyra has been gone for a bit.
Yeah, because her dad organized this whole meeting of potential suitors for her, but she is not interested at all. You could just tell. She finds something wrong with everybody.
Yeah, because some of them are hella old. Some of them are children.
Young.
And they're over here being like, I can
show you the world.
I hate it, but they were like, you can make so many babies with me. Like, it'll be amazing. And it's like children saying this to her.
Well, what else are they going to say?
It's gross.
It is gross.
But she's going through this, and she was supposed to stay for 2 more months, but ends up leaving early because she's over this shit.
I don't even think she was really there for that much. For that much time.
I don't think so either.
But they get on their boat, and she's with Sir Christian Cole because that's her guy. And they're heading back home, and she can see like the castle, the Targaryen castle, and then she sees Daemon's dragon, almost knocks them out. And you could tell that she's like excited to see him. Yeah.
And she sees, oh, by the way, new look. He cut his long hair. He has short hair now. But he comes and tells the king that he has won the battle and that there's no one there anymore. So everyone's dead.
He's saying like, oh, I won it for you though.
Yeah.
It's under your name because you're the king. And he's wearing a crown made of what, bones? And Westeros is like, oh, so what, you're the king now? And he's like, no, this is for you, bro. This is for you.
And although it was there was like a lot of tension, they do hug and everyone claps. So they have a party. And Rhaenyra is like trying to get closer to them just to like talk to Daemon. But when she does get close, you can tell the dad is upset that she's not at her bachelor party.
Yeah, at her bachelorette.
Yeah.
He's upset that she's not already married.
But she's like trying to talk to them, but that doesn't go through. And I really like it because there's a part where she's sitting alone on the bench and Alicent comes to sit next to her. And is like, he's frustrated with you, but I'm really happy to see you again. And
because she doesn't have any friends.
Rhaenyra makes a comment that's like, I don't want that type of life, just to push out babies.
Yeah, but I understand what Alicent is trying to do, but I do hate that she's like, oh, what misery that you have all of these guys fawning over you.
I get it.
And then Rhaenyra is like, they don't even want me. Like, they just want my title, my Targaryen blood. And, like, I don't want to be just stuck in a castle pushing out babies. And then she kind of looks at Alicent like, oh, sorry.
Sorry. That's kind of what you're doing with my dad. Okay. I just want to move a little quickly here because a lot of stuff happens, but Damon ends up sneaking some clothes into Rhaenyra's room. So when she
Some
goes
like
in at
beggar's
night,
clothes.
she puts on this beggar's disguise, and she meets Damon to go out into the town.
Yeah, he wants to
Where the people
show
are.
her how gross the town is, I guess.
And she sees like a town play where they're basically like making fun of her trying to become the queen and how it should go to Aegon instead. And he's just like, look, everyone's like this.
But they're also making fun of Damon too, because they're like, who's gonna be the king? Is it gonna be the prince, the brother prince, or Aegon or Rhaenyra?
Yep. And then Damon takes Rhaenyra to a pleasure house. And they have a moment because he's basically like, you know what? Fucking is good if you want to fuck who you want. And then they start.
It's pleasure for both men and women.
Yeah. And then they start making out.
And it was starting to get heated.
Yeah.
Like, they were, like, on the wall, and she was ready. She was ready.
Yeah, she
But then
was.
he pulls away from her and leaves her.
Yep. But you know what? She's still hot and bothered.
She could have just taken a cold shower.
She could have.
She could have just, like, went to bed. But instead, she goes back to her room, and she's like, you know what? Sir Christian Cole, he's looking fine
good.
tonight. And so she has sex with him.
That makes me so sad. It makes me
It didn't make me sad at all,
I kept
actually.
making jokes because he looked so confused. I was like, he's thinking like, can I count this as overtime? Like, I don't know. Do I write this on my timesheet?
Does this mean I'm getting a promotion?
I don't know. What's my label now? I'm not personal guard. Am I?
I mean, listen,
No.
he is meant to take care of the princess.
Not like that. You know what sucks though? When she was at the pleasure house, she was spotted by a spy that Otto has. And so,
It turns into this whole fucking scandal.
yep, like she was at a pleasure house coupling with her uncle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, uncle and niece. Is that what
Yeah.
it is? Uncle and niece, by the way.
Weird said that.
I hate it. I hate it so much. It
But-
makes me so angry.
And so pretty much Otto goes to the king and he's like, Rhaenyra, this is hard to tell you, but she was caught. And it turns into this whole thing, and the king is mostly concerned about the perception, right? He doesn't really care
Yes.
about the facts. And then he drags his brother Damon in, and he's like still hungover. And he's like, what did you do to her? How could you do that to her? That's my daughter. And Damon is just like, you know what? Better me than some whore.
Yep. And he even mentions like, I'll marry her.
I'll take her as she
I'll
is.
wipe her up.
I don't even care.
Yep, but Rhaenyra ends up having a talk with Viserys and is like, you know what? I will marry my cousin Laeron, I think his name is.
Yeah, because that's who the king wants her to marry.
Yep, I will do that if you get rid of the bitch who gossips.
Snitched on me.
Which is Otto, his right-hand man. And this episode ends with them firing Otto. Did you look at my Otto is not Otto?
Yeah. Ew. So we just watched episode 5.
We took a break from the last thing we said. Just to mention, because episode 5 had just come out.
So I look like I'm crying? No, I'm not. You're crying.
We literally just closed my Chromebook. Like,
Okay, let me just start off the episode. Episode starts off, we're finally introduced to Damon's wife. He's been married this whole time, but he's miserable about it. We're finally introduced to her. Her name is Lady Rhea.
Yeah.
And she is riding along with her horse. She sees him and she's like, oh, husband, are you ready to consummate the marriage yet? And she's kind of roasting him a little bit because if you watched it, there's a moment where he says the sheep are prettier than her. So she's telling him, oh, but the sheep here, they're very pretty. And he decides, like a rational man, he decides to fuck around with her horse. And it throws her off, lands on her, and she ends up paralyzed.
and he was going to leave her there, but she says, like, you're such a bitch. You couldn't even end the job.
He couldn't even finish.
Yeah, finish the job. So he grabs a rock, and you hear later that she was found dead and her skull was crushed.
Yeah, so we can assume it was him.
Yeah, but with Rhaenyra, she is now at Corlys's house. Corlys's like castle.
Yeah, so they're in the Valerian.
Yeah.
So they are related, but they're like cousins.
But they went because she's going to meet her new husband,
Later on.
Leiron. But just to let you know, the king is going over here too, and he ain't looking well.
He's fucking sick. He's throwing up. He looks pale as fuck. And they obviously had to make the trip on a boat. So he's seasick.
Every type of sick you can think of.
Yeah.
And back at home, Alicent stayed home, but while Otto was packing up, because remember he was fired, while he was packing up, he was like, that king's about to die. So you chose to trust Rhaenyra. You chose to trust her, but was it really worth it? She's going to be your guys' demise, and it's going to be your fault.
Yeah, because if you think about it, Aegon is going to be beloved by everyone because he's a man.
Yeah.
And so once Rhaenyra becomes the queen, it's going to start a war. And he's trying to tell Alicent, like, you fucked up. Like, you should have really thought this through. You think you did the best of the situation, but you didn't. And so this is like his last words to her, and he's like leaving. And Alicent, you can see in her face, she's having a little bit of doubts, but we're still not there yet. Back with Valerian, Rhaenyra meets up with her cousin Leiron, and they're kind of walking, talking, and they kind of come to an agreement where it's like, I know I'm not your type.
Yeah. I prefer duck, you prefer goose.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you want to have goose, then by all means.
I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So what they're basically saying is he has a lover whose name is Joffrey, and is also
trigger warning to people who watch Game of Thrones.
Is also a man.
Yeah.
So it's his gay lover. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra has
Christian Cole,
who is her personal guard.
She's assuming that their love is going to continue or whatever they have, right?
Yeah.
And so she's thinking, okay, we're going to come to this agreement and I can still have Christian Cole.
Yep. So Christian Cole is told this by Rhaenyra, and he doesn't seem down because he's like,
he was offended.
I'm not going to be your whore.
How dare you?
How dare you? I love you.
No, he doesn't say that.
He doesn't say that, but I want him to say that.
No.
He basically wanted them to get married because he thought that would make him... What's the word?
He ruined his oath. And so now he thinks that by making everything better, he has to marry Rhaenyra.
And that'll fix the oath.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll fix the mistake, right? And he's thinking, or he's telling her, you know what? You didn't even want this.
Yep.
We could go off, be free, smell some oranges and cinnamon and whatever, and live our life together. And you could marry me. Obviously, she would have to give up the throne, though. But she's just like...
Yeah, and he even says it like, you could leave the crown. And she's like, bitch, I am the crown. I can't leave.
Yeah.
This is my duty.
Because she is the heir.
But back to Alicent. She is angry because she doesn't know what to believe. Whether her father was right and, Rhaenyra did sleep with Daemon, or was it wrong? So she pulls Christian Cole.
Once they go back home.
To talk to her in private. And basically says, do you know about what happened?
The night that Daemon came back.
Yeah.
But she does it so vaguely. She's just like, there's a rumor going on. I don't want to question her maidenhead. But, rumors. And he's like, I did it. It was me. I'll admit to it. And she's just like flabbergasted. She's like, what? It was you? And so this is how she learns that Rhaenyra did lose her virginity, but it wasn't to Daemon, it was to Sir Christian Cole.
And she's so fucking angry because it's like, you made my dad leave and you said that you didn't do anything.
With Daemon.
Yeah, but she did do something.
Not with Daemon. It's a lie by omission.
But she is so angry, but doesn't fire Christian Cole. It's like, just go back to your post.
Leave me alone. But you could tell on her fucking face, she's angry.
So fast forward. So we're at Laenor and Rhaenyra's wedding, and everyone is there. It's popping.
It's supposed to be 7 days of celebration, and then there's going to be a wedding afterwards.
So mid-king's speech, the queen, Alicent, comes in, and she looks pissed off.
And she's wearing green.
Which is the color of war.
According to Hightower.
Yeah, which is her
last name.
But she's fucking pissed off. and this wedding is going on, and you know everyone's watching.
And she's like, congratulations, stepdaughter.
Yeah, everyone's watching Laenor and Rhaenyra dance.
And then Daemon shows up.
And everyone's fucking pissed off. Everyone's literally looking at each other with daggers in their eyes.
Because Sir Christian Cole is there and he looks miserable. And then
Joffrey, which is Laenor's lover, is like looking around like, okay, who's this person that Rhaenyra's hiding? And he knows it's Christian Cole.
Because he's moping.
Yeah. And then Daemon is looking at Rhaenyra and is like, she doesn't want this. She does not want this.
I can tell. What she needs is me.
And then Alicent is just angry at the world right now. And Viserys is fucking dying, bitch. He's so pale. He can't even sit up straight. So everyone is having a bad time. But Joffrey goes up to Christian Cole and is like, hey, we don't know each other, but we are both connected to this union more than you think.
Yeah, and we're on the same boat here. You know, we need to make an oath to protect them.
Because I care dearly for Laenor like you do
For the queen, or the future queen.
Yeah, for Rhaenyra. And things go really quick because while they're having this conversation, Daemon goes up to Rhaenyra.
He leaves him. That's the weird thing, is that he walks away from him. And
That's
then
true.
Daemon comes down and he interrupts whoever Rhaenyra is dancing with. And he starts telling her, he pulls her to the side and he starts telling her, you don't want this. You know what? Weird. I'm also single, ready to mingle all of a sudden. So if you wanted to marry, I don't know, someone else, I'm down.
Who will excite you because he's a boring ass man you're marrying.
Leonor?
Laenor.
He's saying that Laenor is boring. And the weird thing is Rhaenyra's response. I don't know how serious she is because she was kind of challenging him. She was like, yeah, if you're so serious, then why don't you kill my guardsmen, take me wherever, and then marry me there?
I think she was serious. She doesn't have her priorities straight. I think she's down for Cole because they fucked. But, like, she wanted Daemon for a while.
Well, because I think Daemon's a better leader than her dad.
Yep. And, like, legally, she could marry Daemon. She can't marry Christian Cole.
So, it would be frowned down upon. Yeah. Not by us.
No.
But that's a
Well, I don't know now. I'm, like, about it. But, okay. While they're having this conversation, the dad is watching.
He's mad.
The dad is watching, and he's literally trying to peer at them, and you can see Daemon grab
he grabs her by the nape, though, like he's about to pull her in and kiss her.
Yep.
But then the crowd just like blocks them, and then something happens.
You hear a scream, and you see Christian Cole just beating the fuck out of Joffrey, which is
Laenor's lover.
The
Knight of Kisses, apparently.
Yeah, well, not anymore because
he has no fucking lips.
His face was completely beaten. Like, he didn't have his face anymore.
No, it was so scary.
Yeah, and it was like everyone separated, and you just see Laenor go up to Joffrey and just crying.
Yeah, because everyone's dispersing, so you just see the body of the lover.
Joffrey.
Yeah, and then Laenor comes and he's sobbing so loudly. Does not care that there's an audience.
And Christian Cole leaves. Mm-hmm. And so we're taken to a scene where Christian Cole is in front of a tree. Mm-hmm. And he's setting down his sword and taking out his knife.
Mm-hmm.
Which
his dagger.
And
at the same time, Laenor and Rhaenyra are being married. Mm-hmm. Because fuck the 7 days. You know what? There's nothing to celebrate now. Yeah, so now they're getting married, and at the same time, Sir Christian Cole is about to commit suicide.
And it's so sad because while Laenor is saying like his vows, he sounds so sad. Mm-hmm. Oh God.
I mean, even Rhaenyra seems shaken up too.
Yeah, she was. And when Christian Cole was going to commit suicide, he gets stopped by the Queen, Alicent.
Mm-hmm. So we don't know what's gonna happen with that yet.
We don't, but he stopped. But as soon as the vows were made and they were married, Viserys
is presumed
collapsed
to possibly have died at this point.
He collapsed. There was like a lot of blood and he collapsed. Is that how it ended?
That's how it ended. Damn, dude. What's crazy about this show is that I feel like every episode ending is so fucking brutal. It's like,
oh my God,
I have to see the next one now.
It hurts me though. I just want no one to die. want everyone to stay alive. Crabman, come back. Crabman episode 3, come back.
Come back.
There's only half of him left, but we can find the other half.
That's okay. We'll search for it.
Oh my god.
Game of Thrones was very famous for always killing off their beloved characters and keeping the most hated ones alive. So I feel like Sir Christian Cole is gonna die, whether it be the next episode or the end of the season. I do feel like he's gonna die.
Fuck that. I'm so angry, but at the same time, I feel like this is shaping Rhaenyra to what she's going to become, which is probably going to be like a queen that is just like has so much power.
She's gonna be heartless though, because nobody wants her to be queen.
Nope.
Well, from the society, of course.
I don't know if Cole still likes her, because that reaction was so much.
Yeah, I don't even think that he actually likes her though. I think he's just more preoccupied with saving his face.
Yeah.
And saving his image. And obviously the only way to do that would have been if Rhaenyra would have married him.
Mm-hmm. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's kind of too.
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you think Daemon's gonna do? Because like he's down for her. He's down for Rhaenyra, but now Rhaenyra's married.
I don't think he's gonna care. I think he's gonna try to infiltrate. He might even try to kill Laenor.
Maybe.
I can see that happening. I can see him doing that and being like, okay, you're single now. Thank God. Marry me now.
Yeah, that's so fucking crazy. I don't know. I feel like maybe Daemon might kill Cole too if that were the case. Just go down that route.
Just start killing all her lovers.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. They're fucking wild. I'm so like shook. You know, like I said, I would have never watched this show if it weren't for the podcast.
And me.
I have to finish it. I'm paying for HBO Max. Thank you for having it with me.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. So, do you think this is only going to be a season long?
Oh no, this is gonna be probably as long as Game of Thrones.
Are we going to talk about it every season?
I mean,
do we have to?
I don't know.
Do we have to? I think after this, because this is the halfway point of season 1, because there's 10 episodes in season 1. Mm-hmm. They're not out yet, but we do want to talk about the end of season 1 or the season 1 finale when it gets to that point. But what if this is like 30 seasons?
It's not gonna be.
What if it's fucking 30?
It's not gonna be 30 seasons. Listen, I think we should keep it going though. Are you saying that you're not enjoying it?
I am enjoying it, but my God, it's so dense. There's so much.
Okay, but like we did a pretty good job discussing it. We're like we already said, we're not here to do Easter eggs. We're just here vibing.
We're literally, it's so funny because when the opening plays, both of us are just like dancing to it. And then there was a joke that they made in episode 3 where Corlys was like complaining to Laenor, and Laenor was like, "What are you, the master of complaints?"
Oh my God,
and now
we were dying.
Yeah, so we keep like any character coming up, it's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm the master of forgetfulness." Oh my God,
the master of empathy.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoyed doing this with you though.
Oh, there you go.
Do you have any predictions, any guesses of where the story is going?
I don't. All I know is that she's going to become evil as fuck. Like, it's already leading down that way.
Most likely.
I wonder if Alicent is going to become... I don't know, because if Viserys dies, what happens to Alicent's power?
It gets pushed to the side, no? Because now Rhaenyra will be the queen.
But she's still basically... She's still there. Like, she's still royalty.
I think she'll be in the castle, but she won't be regarded that much.
I think she'll fuck shit up.
I think so, too. I think she's going to end up bitter. Mm-hmm. I think she's going to fuck things up for Rhaenyra just because. Why not? Mm-hmm. She's a little bored.
My gosh. Remember in the first episode where Daemon was like, "You know what, Viserys? I'm trying to save you from yourself." This, like, their kingdom is, like, imploding right now.
I know. Seriously.
They really are the reason for their demise.
I kind of do wish that... I know it's not realistic, but I kind of do wish that Daemon and Viserys would have had a moment. I don't know if he's dying, he's dead, whatever, but I do want them to have a moment before that death.
Yeah.
Of like, I mean, yeah, you pissed me off, but like, you're still my brother.
I kind of love you. I don't think they're going to. I feel like Daemon is very like what's the word? A sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
So
true.
I don't think he can feel that, but he might feel the change. I don't know. He killed his own wife, so it's kind of a lot.
They never consummated the marriage. How does that work? Like,
I don't know.
because that mattered before.
You have to consummate, so they
Yeah.
just never had sex.
Yeah.
From what I remember, you're supposed to like put the bed in the middle of the room, and they're supposed to hear you have sex, and they're like, "Wow, they really did it." What kings and queens slay?
In this time period, are you technically married? Because that was a big thing,
What do you mean?
consummating the marriage.
If you do that, yes, you're consummating the marriage. But if you consummate without being married, you're a whore.
No, I know, but like if you get married and don't consummate the marriage,
Then you're not married. Well, you are, but you haven't consummated it, so it's not like
so you're still at the
set.
beginning.
Yeah, you're still at the beginning, but you're supposed to consummate. Like back then, weddings would happen, and they'd be like, "Okay, walk to your bed. We sit in the middle of the room while we hype you up, bitch."
Go.
Yes. So, it was a thing, but
Yeah.
they didn't do that.
That's weird.
The thing is, Ray seemed very much like him.
Lady Rhea.
Lady Rhea seemed very much like him in the way that she was like an outdoors person, is out here.
We're fucking roasting him too.
Yeah, they seemed like they would have worked if he wasn't such a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Did you see any parallels with the first 5 episodes of House of Dragons and Game of Thrones? Like, is Rhaenyra anything like Daenerys?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to remember, to be honest. It's been a while since I've
Okay.
seen the seasons. But I'm sure there are parallels. I'm sure people are making all of these parallels and all these connections, but
Okay.
there's nothing I can really pinpoint right now.
I'm kind of glad that I'm going into this blind. Like, I like that I only know this and not Game of Thrones. That might be very controversial to say, but I just think it, like,
It's
I don't
a
know.
new experience.
Yeah, and if I do end up really liking it, I think I would just rather read Game of Thrones.
They're not done yet, though.
I know, but I would rather that, like, the true ending than whatever they did for the show.
I hope he finishes it. He's taking a sweet
Well, when did he
time.
start writing it?
I don't even know. Let's look it up. Take your bets, everyone. When do you think Game of Thrones was first?
Yesterday. He started yesterday.
96.
When I was born.
Yeah,
Oh my
on your
God.
birthday, actually.
No,
No, stop.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, it sounded too much like it. We're going to get copyrighted. Oh my gosh, that song goes hard. I'm sorry.
It really does. So what do you think? Should we give it a rating or should we wait till the finale?
I think we should wait till the finale of season 1, but I am going to say, even without the podcast, I'm going to continue watching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Well,
I feel like it's hard to get you to watch anything.
Thank you. Well, I'm a very busy person, but when I get hooked on something, I have to finish it.
Yeah, no. I need to know what happens to all of these characters. Who are you rooting for?
Who am I rooting for? No one.
You're not rooting
I
for
don't
anyone?
know. I want everyone to freaking.
Kiss and make up.
I hope that Rhaenyra can become a good queen, but if not, Aegon's still there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
But what do you think? Who are you rooting for? I know it's gonna
Rhaenyra.
be Damon.
I'm rooting for Rhaenyra.
Oh, good. Okay, we're both on the same side then. For anyone who's listening to us on podcast form, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on, thank you so much. If you can leave a rating of 5 stars and a review, that would be nice. I really want to know what you guys think of House of Dragons. Also,
far.
am I allowed to like it if I didn't watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Please, only nice responses.
Yes, you are, of course.
For anyone who's watching us on video form on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe, because that would be so nice. And hit that notification bell so you can get updates on when we post, notifications on when we post. That would be super nice. Thank you.
And we will see you again on the finale.
Yes. I was going to sing the song.
I know. Hold it back. Hold it back.
Okay, open another browser right now and start playing the opening to this.
Okay, ready? Go.
It's just quiet. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
You know what we didn't say?
What?
By the way, this is a bonus video. This has nothing to do with our tier list that will come out next
Oh
week.
yeah, this is season lists and episode lists. There's no number to this.
It will be in the second season when we talk about the finale.
Yes, so
Third. Oh my
third
God.
season. See you in the tier list video. Bye.
Bye.
It's a good song. I can't sing it though.
Oh, sorry. I can't help it. It just comes out of me.
Oh my god, someone should make a collab of that and the period.
No, I hate that sound.
It's good.
I thought you hated that sound.
I did, but
I'm convinced now.
period. Oh, I better not sing it. I might sound just like it.